Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking over. We are live. Old Walls House live right now, post Packer game. But hang on, 1 second. 1 second. Something's not right. Hang
Here
on.
it comes.
Jesus Christ.
Oh no, it's stuck. I broke it. It was stuck on my chair. I gotta get my earphones in. Now we're live. Let's go, Packers, baby.
Far too small.
I just snapped the chin strap. It got tangled up in my chair, so we're just gonna have to do some maneuvering here. The Green Bay Packers have beat the Cowboys in super wild card weekend. I've got noted Cowboys fan, good old MJ here, and the big cat Bill Gardner here with me. First thoughts, gentlemen. Anybody want to lead it off here? Bill, MJ, who wants to take the lead here? Who wants to just give us the first thoughts?
I'll take it, and then I'll let MJ. Went into this weekend already making it to the playoffs, was considering that a win for this team. Didn't expect them to do anything tonight. I think I told both of you guys, I figured Dallas would get up by 2 scores early, and then it would kind of just be like that the rest of the way. Just because this team, the Green Bay team's so young. They've struggled a lot this year, but, I mean, they're hot right now. It's when it comes to the playoffs, that's kind of the way it falls sometimes.
I hate everything. I'm gonna fix my camera here. Yeah, I hate it. I hate it all. I don't even really know what to say. I'm gonna put it back because you guys are crooked now.
I don't think I changed anything since he made you crooked.
No, it didn't. I don't know. I don't even know why I'm here. I don't know why I accepted this invite last week, knowing that this was the possibility. It's just disappointed. Yeah, I mean, I know you guys are longtime sports fans, and it's like you want to like die and crawl in a hole and cry, but you just have to like make fun of yourself just so you don't go into a deep depression, basically. So that's kind of been my last like hour of my life, is just like trying to make jokes, find something funny. It's just bad, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to go to the next second, I guess, right now.
So through all this, like, I was kind of not quite on the same level as you, Bill. I didn't quite think it was going to be a 2 touchdown like right away. I thought the Packers were going to kind of be in it early. And then sometime around halftime, I was expecting the Cowboys would make a big play. And then all of a sudden, like the second half would start and the Cowboys would score again. And then it was going to get out of hand. And then the Cowboys were going to be up 2 scores. I thought the Packers would put up a little fight. They'd come out kind of, nothing to lose like they did today. And then all of a sudden, the talent and everything else would show up and the Cowboys would start going away with it. But there was something wrong in Dallas. Like, they were not right. Like, Prescott couldn't find CeeDee Lamb. Dak looked terrible. They were one of the best passing teams on first down all year, and they decided they were going to run it on first down all day today. And just all of a sudden, like, things just started happening. And it was like that fucking snowball effect. And the Packers just got going
right away. I think Olsen was on it like almost immediately. He's like, something is off with CD and Dak. Like, something's not right.
Yep.
Well, they can't stop the run. It's still a problem. It's been a problem for years now. And they get into these games, against Green Bay in the past. And I know like the big plays in some of these Green Bay Dallas games have been like Aaron Rodgers, like crazy throws or last second things. But like in all those games, they've had problems stopping the run. The San Francisco game, they couldn't stop any run game. Arizona game this year, and it's if Dallas doesn't get out to those early leads, they lose games. And I think mostly it's just because if they're up 7-14, teams got to pass, and then they can just pin their ears back a little bit and pressure with Micah and stuff. If you take that away from them, the defense it's soft up the middle, and they just don't have, I don't think, the depth defensively. And I know Dan Quinn gets a lot of credit, but that defense gets torched. And, like, you can't expect perfection from your quarterback at all times. You got to have a defense that can keep you in a goddamn game for a little while. And they just couldn't. I think Dak could have played perfect today, and I don't think it would have really mattered.
The Packers scored on what, their first 5 drives?
Yeah. And some of that Dak, threw the pick, which was a nice play. Alexander did. And I know he had the pick 6 and everything, but man, oh man, it was just, you could tell, like, the defense didn't get a stop. I didn't watch the whole game because I had to turn it off sometimes for my own sanity. But, like, how many stops did they really get?
Not many. Not many. The Packers scored on, like, most of the times they needed to. Aaron Jones was a man possessed running the ball after – it was like the first, like, 5 or 6 plays. The Cowboys were really good against the run. And then after that, Aaron Jones kind of had his way. And Jordan Love played a fucking fantastic football game. I know Bill and I, at the start of the year, we were super down on Jordan Love. About halfway through the year, I was super down on Jordan Love. And I'm sitting here today. I'm eating crow. The dude has been balling his ass off. He played a great game today. He's been playing fantastic throughout the playoffs. And I don't know what else to say about him other than, we went into the start of the year, like, questioning why they gave him the 1-year extension for next year. And now I'm thinking to myself, like, there's almost no doubt that they're going to put a big extension in front of him at the end of this offseason. Like, he's been incredible lately. And he made, in the first half, like 4 or 5 great plays that either kept drives going or scored a touchdown. I'm thinking of, I don't remember what the score was at the time, but they had just gotten backed up on the holding call down at the goal line. And he threaded one down to, like, the 2 to Dobbs that turned, like, what could have been a really bad situation for him into an easy scoring chance on second down. And then Jones punched it in. So, I mean, the Packers showed up, and sometimes that's just how the playoffs work, right? Like, one team is hot and another team struggles, and all of a sudden, like, that snowball effect happens, and shit just starts going in the right way for one team and the wrong way for another. And I feel like that's exactly what happened today.
Yeah, Green Bay, just like I said before, they've just been hitting it at the right point, and Love is playing his best football of the year at the perfect time. Because like we said, there were some real flashes during the season, but there were a lot of down points in the season where I know I fucking piled on him, like, saying he was trash and shit. But, like, I feel like as a Packers fan, you look at it through such, like, a critical eye. You're used to seeing Favre and Rodgers. So when you watch him play, like, if he makes a mistake, you're like, Jesus Christ, this guy sucks. Like, Rodgers would have made that play. And, like, you have to kind of dial that back because you can't put people on that level. But, like, when you watch Love play, you can see the 3 years behind Rodgers is very much, like, in his style of play. These off-platform throws and the leaving his feet. And he is able to make those type of plays. And it's like, what I was worried about was him wanting to do those type of things because he watched Rodgers do it, but not having the ability to do it. I mean, he's kind of showing that he can. So, like, I've been wrong on that. He's playing way better than I thought he would.
Yeah, I don't think there's maybe anything that, like, as a Packers fan, like, in the times in the last, I don't know, 10 years or so when you and I have been, like, really communicating about the Packers that we've been more wrong on than Jordan Love.
Yeah.
And we were very right for the first, like, 8 weeks of the season. And then something happened. I don't know what it was. And I'm trying not to get too ahead of myself.
I was going to also,
we're going to San Francisco next week, and this could get very ugly.
There's been a lot
fast.
of guys. There's been a lot of guys in the NFL who've had a good year, and then they're never heard from again. So I'm very, like, this has been great, but at the same time, like, I said this before. At some point, he's going to come back down to earth because he's been playing incredible. I mean, if he keeps this up, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. The level of play he's at right now, if he keeps that up, he's Hall of Fame. So at some point, he's going to come back to earth, and you just hope that it's not so far back that he isn't good. Just to maintain at least a level of this would be great.
Yeah. It's the whole thing that like nobody, unless you're like the Patrick Mahomes, the Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady's, like nobody does this forever. And like you said, there's guys who have had like Tua had a great first half of the year and they're slinging it all over. Like he's come way back to earth. Like you just hope that like when they come back down, it's just not they come way down. Yeah. And MJ probably, I mean, you feel the same thing with Dak probably. Like he has super highs, and then not to pile on you here today, but like today was a low for Dak. Like, and it seems to happen, unfortunately for you for Dak in the playoffs and the Cowboys in general. I know you sent a text right before we started that the Texans have more playoff wins since 1995 than the Cowboys.
They weren't a team in 1995. Just so everyone's aware, in case you're not an NFL history guy, they came into around like what, 2001?
Yeah, something like that. With what was the
David
car?
Carr.
David Carr. David. It's getting tight here, boys.
Yeah, I mean,
really
it's
tight.
just it's an incredible thing, and like I don't want to take anything. Green Bay was much better prepared for this game, and like I just my biggest thing with the Cowboys is I think they have so much talent and everything, but they have these games, and they have these games where they don't. It's like they're not ready to go, and to me, like I don't know, it just feels like you have to be ready. Like if you have this 12-win team, you got to be ready. And I'm not saying like if they would have lost this game 31-28 or something, yeah, it's heartbreaking, it's awful, but at least you're competitive throughout. But to lose in the way they lose, especially this year, it's so disheartening. It's like you're either blowing teams out or you're getting blown out. There's no in between. Their closest games were like the first time they played the Eagles, and that's like the one I can think of that was actually close throughout. They were either blowing teams out or getting blown out, and it's just to me that kind of comes back to coaching, and I also think defensively they're not near as good since the Diggs injury. And I think that came and really bit them tonight. And I'm not making excuses for Dak because Dak's there to stay. Whether Cowboy fans like it or not, he's going to be there next year and probably the year after, unless something strange happens. So you just gotta try to put this thing in the right direction.
Speaking of people who are going to be there next year and the year after, what do you make of all the stuff surrounding Mike McCarthy? There was kind of a feeling that coming into this year, he was maybe on the hot seat. And I think, I don't know if I talked about it with Jeffy last week, that it kind of felt like he was like, oh, if this is the year that I'm on the hot seat, like I'm taking control. I'm going to call the plays. I'm going to be the guy in charge. Any feelings towards the thought that they may get rid of him this year and go somewhere else?
I don't think there's gonna be a change like that. I do think that Dan Quinn has a chance to be gone just because I think teams will want to hire him as a head coach. I think McCarthy did a decent job this year taking over the offense. The offense I don't necessarily believe is truly the problem. I do think they need another playmaker on the outside. I think Pollard's going to probably be gone. But to me, you got some really nice pieces. Dak is a winnable quarterback. You can win with him. But he needs help sometimes too, I do believe. Because he's going to have games like today where it's just not all going to go perfectly. And you got to surround him with a team that can keep him in it for a while. And I don't know if Mike McCarthy is capable of doing that. But at the same time, I don't know if I'd get rid of him just because offensively it was a lot better this year. And who else are you going to get? That's my biggest worry.
Billy B?
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I did read some things that said sources said that it would a lot would be judged on the last game of the season for them. And if this is the judgment day, he is in trouble, but I don't know how true that is either. So
yeah, it's hard to tell.
A lot of that's media, just media hype. Like, oh, if McCarthy doesn't pull it off, he's got to go, because everyone always loves to push the thing like Jerry Jones won't wait around. Like, he wants it now. Like, I don't know though. I mean, exactly. Like, who else are you going to bring in?
Yeah.
I really think the only, like, if they're going to make a move on McCarthy, like, the only guy they can go to is Belichick, right? Like, who else do you bring in that, like, feels like...
I don't think that happens because of Jerry Jones.
I did read some stuff, and again, it's like all these, like, NFL reporters, and, like, half of their thing is like, hey, if they just start driving, clicks and, traffic to their stuff, it's like, oh, Bill Belichick and Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones at NFL meetings, man, they're pretty tight, like... So it's like it's hard to tell if that's for real or if it's just some asshole trying to.
They say so much stuff and they throw so much shit at the wall and see what sticks. Like they're just gonna say whatever, and then if eventually it becomes true, they can go back and be like, oh yeah, we said that. We're the ones that broke that, but it's because they're saying 1,000 things.
Yeah, I would be shocked if something like that happened. I would be shocked even if Mike McCarthy was fired. I would be, but I don't know.
I would also be surprised. But while we're talking coaching, I think we got to talk Matt LaFleur. Like this, I know it's kind of a crazy thought to say that a 9-8 season where they sneak into the playoffs is maybe his best coaching job of his career so far. But this is a team that I caught today. They said, other than Aaron Jones, nobody who is an offensive skill player had touched the ball in an NFL playoff game today. And he wins a game in Dallas with the youngest team to ever make the NFL playoffs. They were 2-5 at one point this year. Everyone had pretty much written them off. It was, I know Bill and I were exchanging texts like, are wins even worth it at this point? There was a point where we were talking worst case scenario was they come out of that stretch that they ended up winning 3 games against the Lions and the Chiefs. It's like, oh, they're going to come out of that and win 4 of the 5 last games. And all of a sudden they're going to fuck up the draft pick. And now they're heading to San Francisco, which again could be an absolute disaster. I mean, the 49ers are a good fucking football team. But all that said, Matt LaFleur maybe has put in his best year of coaching. He called an almost perfect game today. I mean, went to the well with a couple of great play action calls at the right time. The time they found Musgrave down the sideline was a perfect call. It was a little bit of a missed coverage by Dallas, but it seemed like the right call at the right time. Didn't pull any stupid shit like he has kind of been known to do, like trying to do a bunch of reverses or anything like that. I mean, Bill, this has to be like his best performance as a coach this last like 10, 11 weeks, right?
Yeah, I think it seems like he's finally found like where he needs to be. I know we've talked about this before, but those first few years with Rodgers, isn't LaFleur younger than Rodgers? Or maybe just like a couple years older?
I think like a year or two older.
So
yeah, super close.
I mean, those first few years, you could see there was not that they were butting heads, but you could see there were times that Rodgers overruled LaFleur, which is going to, when you've got an 18-year vet, future Hall of Famer quarterback, it's going to happen. So I think we've talked about this before in the sense that this is the first year that LaFleur's really been able to run his own offense. So this is who LaFleur is. This is what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do that in the first few years because Rodgers would check out of stuff. Rodgers would make audibles. Like Rodgers kind of did his own thing. Like he played within LaFleur's system, but did what he wanted to, basically. So I think this is the first year you've seen LaFleur really kind of take the reins and run his own offense the way it should be run. I think a lot of that has to do with Jordan Love's success. He's playing in a system he's been in for 3 years. And he's running it the way it's meant to be run. I mean, tonight was, you could call it like a masterclass. The way he was setting up the play action, the run, the pass, the balance, it was great. I mean, if this game was what like decided kind of McCarthy's future, like he got out coached tonight. So like not great for him, but I mean, this really showed like LaFleur has definitely kind of taken control, and there's absolutely been points where like I've been like, man, what the fuck is he doing? Like, and you don't agree with what he's doing, and it just doesn't make sense. But at the end of the day, they're a playoff win team. So, you know, it's been real impressive from him this year, especially with what he's working with. You know, like we said, the NFL loves to harp, the announcers love to harp on the fact that it's the youngest. These guys are all first and second year guys, but it's working. And those guys make a lot of mistakes. Young guys make a ton of mistakes, and we've seen a lot of them. They've made a ton of mistakes this year, and they made some mistakes tonight even. That, like, even though they were up, you and I were worried. We're like, Jesus Christ, they're going to let them back in this game because they keep doing this and that. But, yeah, man, he's done a great job. I know we've talked in the past about, like, Jesus Christ, is he the right guy? But I don't know. You keep doing this, and then you can't argue it anymore. You know, like he's the dude. He's almost like the same thing with Jordan Love. Like, is he going to be the guy? Is he not going to be the guy? He shows flashes. I mean, they're both just clicking right now, so it's hard to argue anything against them.
Yeah, and that's the kind of the big thing to, like, you have to take a big step back at this moment. It's like, yeah, we're all excited. We just got a big playoff win. You know, we're probably going to San Francisco and going to get fucking run out of the building. But like, you do have to consider this year a success. Like, nobody with any brains really thought that this was going to happen. You know, somebody may have, like, I know, like, Dan Orlovsky was like, oh, the Packers are going to win the division. And you and I were like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, that's ludicrous. But at the same time, you do have to sit back and be like, this is a successful season that not a lot of people saw coming. That was, you know, a season that they could have punted on, like, early. They could have, like, made some trades that, you know, you and I kind of talked about, like, maybe they should trade Jones was, like, a very big topic that you and I were, like, batting back and forth. And they didn't, and they kept going, and they figured out a way to do it. So I think LaFleur has locked himself in for, you know, obviously next year, but probably even the year after that, unless next year's a total debacle. But it's really shown a lot about their ability to grow and understand, like, the team they have in front of them, and that a lot of these guys are coming back. There's going to be a bunch of cap space available next year. I know a bunch of that is probably going to end up going to Jordan Love. I would imagine they extend him in some sort of serious way in the offseason, but it's hard to sit back at the end of this year. And I was thinking this, even if they were going to lose this week, that, like, it's hard to sit back and be like, oh, this was a failure of a year. Like, this was a big step in the right direction. So, I mean, I don't even know where I was going with all that, but
well, there's something that can be said for, I know you and I get frustrated because Green Bay is a conservative franchise. Traditionally, they've always been very conservative. They don't make big splashy moves. But, you know, there's something to be said about the fact that they give their quarterbacks time to develop. Mm-hmm. They stick with coaches even when, you know, things are shaky. In that kind of stability, I guess, and I guess I've never really thought about it in the way I have, because, like, I mean, you and I were like, we wanted a Super Bowl every year with Rodgers. It was like, get rid of McCarthy, get a coach in here that'll win us a Super Bowl. Get a
Yeah,
big
make
time
the
free
move,
agent.
like trade
We wanted
somebody.
all those big splashy moves to win a Super Bowl, but even though like there's only been a couple Super Bowls, there's continued success every year. They're never bottom of the barrel. And I think, like there's something to be said there with the amount of time they give, they develop players, they give coaches a chance. They're not quick to pull the trigger and get rid of people, which sometimes we think sucks. Like fucking Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator, wanted that dude fired 4 weeks ago. The defense has played great the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? I don't know, man. They stick with people, and it seems to work out most of the time. But
Yeah, we bitch as much about the fact that like there's no actual owner of the Packers, obviously, and it's kind of like a run by committee thing. I know there's a general manager and a president of football operations, but like there's no Jerry Jones like the Cowboys. It's like just go get this guy. Like we're trying to win this year, and that was kind of something you and I always bitched about. Like that, there's no owner to be like, hey, we've got Rodgers for like what, maybe 2-3 more years. We've been saying that for forever.
yeah,
Like,
we wanted to sell out.
Make a trade, go up in the draft, pick up some stud young wide receiver, and they don't do it. And I think, like you said, we kind of have to sit back here and kind of admit in a sense that we were wrong. I mean, I don't think I was like wrong in the aspect that I was like, oh, I want to win with Rodgers and like we should go for it now. Like in hindsight, if they had sold out,
Yeah,
tried
I'm
to
not
go
saying
win with
that
Rodgers,
they could
I'm
have
not
made some
going to
moves and done a little more
Yeah.
with Rodgers, but the conservative thing hasn't. Like, it's led
It
to
hasn't
some success,
failed
but also too,
completely.
I think it has been a problem at times.
Yes, like there's definitely problems by the fact that they didn't kind of sell out and go for it with Rodgers. But like this is the flip side, that like there's a continuation of like success, that it keeps going, and that there's another team in the playoffs, and there's another young quarterback, and there's a bunch of young wide receivers. So at the same time, like I don't want to backtrack on like the things I said before, that like they should have sold out with Rodgers, because I'm never going to backtrack on that. Like
No, me neither.
Rodgers was a generational quarterback, and everybody knew it. So like I'm still standing by the fact that they should have sold out with Rodgers. But I do have to like kind of play 6 one way, half dozen the other, and be like, okay, I kind of understand what they did, and like see that they did set up a path to the future. That's it. I still wish they would have fucking sold that with Rodgers, but
Yeah, me too.
Okay. I think we hit it all, boys. I mean, is there anything else that we missed in this kind of recap? I mean, the fucking Green Bay Packers are going on in the fucking playoffs. They're moving on. MJ is distraught over there. MJ, I feel like we've shut you out for a while here.
Okay.
Anything you want to jump back in with?
No, it's nice to hear some of my good friends being happy. That's nice. It's really nice. It's really nice.
I will say, dude, I feel bad for Dak. I'm a big fan of Dak. I really like Dak, and it sucks that it was against Green Bay. But so like my family and MJ, like I grew up around Cowboys fans, so I've always rooted for the Cowboys, and I like the Cowboys. Had Green Bay not been playing Dallas tonight, I would have been cheering Dallas on, full heartedly. So it does kind of suck, because I will say I think Dallas had a much better chance of beating San Francisco than Green Bay will.
Yeah.
So it was a tough spot, because, I'd love to see Dallas go on and do well, just for MJ and my family, like everyone that likes them. And I like them too, but it sucks they got matched up against Green Bay. Green Bay's hot right now, but Green Bay's going to get their ass beat by San Francisco. And I feel like Dallas at least had a chance to beat San Fran. So it kind of fucking sucks, because I feel like, yeah, it's awesome Green Bay got the win, but we're sending San Fran to the Super Bowl from the NFC.
Most likely, yeah. No, and I'll just say this real quick. I know, Wally, I think you caught maybe a message there. Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah, we got a message.
All right. Just real quick though. It's that feeling of like, when is this ever going to end? Like it's just like when is these 9, 10, 11, 12 win seasons ever going to like actually like end up being fun? because it's every year. It's just a first round, maybe a second round loss. And the maybes, like it's 4 playoff wins in the last 25 years, man. Like it's rough.
Haven't been to the NFC title game since what, 95 or 96, the year they won the Super Bowl, right?
It almost just feels like the 17, 18 weeks of the regular season is just kind of a waste. So it's always tough. And that's why I always mention to you guys, like, how fun it is, because the Packers are usually always competitive with like occasional down years, but at least they got to the dance a few times. They've been to 9 NFC championships in the last however many years. Is that how many?
There were a few over the last handful of, with Rodgers, there were a few.
So even just to get to that far, the Cowboys can't even get there. So it's like one of those things, like Packers fans and Steelers fans, you guys have it pretty well when it comes to like you're always competitive, and sure you don't make big flashy like trades and stuff, but it works.
Yeah,
because the Cowboys ain't working. They're not working.
Packers fans and Cowboys fans have a little something similar.
I almost feel like the roles were reversed this year. Usually Green Bay is like a favorite coming into the playoffs, and they lose when they shouldn't. It was nice to be on the other side of it for once.
I did say to MJ that the only thing that the Packers have going for them in like the past 10, 11 years, dating back to that Super Bowl win, except for the year that they lost to the Giants, they've won all the games they're like supposed to win, and have kind of lost with toss-up games, essentially the NFC title games, or the years when they haven't been as great, and they've lost to the Cardinals on that Larry Fitzgerald play and shit like that. But unfortunately for the Cowboys, they've lost the games they're supposed to win. Like today, that was a game they're supposed to win.
Yeah.
And a longtime listener, also a contributor to the show, Ethan E. Sexton, said Dak should have stopped saying, "Yeah, here we go," when they were down 30. How do you feel about that, MJ?
It's his cadence, man. I don't know.
Keep it up. I love it.
Yeah, I love it. I'm not ever gonna bash that, man. I say that like anytime, like I'm a teacher and I'm like in my classrooms. Here we go. Just like I do it all the time. So I love it. I don't know. I'm a Dak guy, man. You know that. Like I'm gonna support him. But whatever. They suck. They're trash. It's another wasted year. I'm tired of it. I'm gonna drink a couple more beers so I can sleep better tonight, and we'll see what happens.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I really appreciate you guys coming on here. Last minute notice to go live, so I'll leave you guys with some final thoughts. MJ, why don't you lead us off? Anything you want to just leave us with here today?
No, I think that's the best way to put it. The Cowboys suck. I'm happy for you guys, but I also hate both of you. And just now I get ready for the draft. Yeah.
Well,
You're
man,
the draft guy, though. You love it.
You're the draft guy. You are the OWH official draft expert, so we'll have you back for that, no doubt.
Yep. Thanks.
Big Cat, what do you got to leave us with?
Go ahead, Bill. Hit us with something.
Yeah, Big Cat, what do you got to leave us with?
I got nothing for you. I'm happy. It'll be short lived. It'll end next week, but it's been fun, dude. It's been a lot of fun watching this Packers team that shouldn't have been good be good. It's been fun.
Yeah, the last 4 or 5 weeks has been fun. So I'm just gonna leave you guys with this. The helmet's back. Let's go! Go, Pack, go!
That thing. Big
Woo!
head. Fucking
Use your brain.
get out of here.